Hey, welcome to the shop. I was just cleaning up the bench. I just finished up a bunch of projects, and so I want to get it clear because tomorrow we've got another project that's outside, and I wanted the shop to be nice and clean in case we needed to cut anything for the job outside. So I was just cleaning it up. But I thought maybe tonight I could give you a little tour of my bench area and what I use it for and how I use it. So I cleaned it up, and let's take a walk around. So this is the seat that I was just sitting on when I just talked to you guys. And so I've got a stool that I can take around if I ever need to sit down, but I very rarely sit down when I'm doing any woodworking. But let me show you. Underneath here is all the 4-foot or shorter lengths of wood, different woods. Most of them are labeled ash, cherry, pine. Scrap pieces are usually on top, and sometimes it's inconvenient and you need to pull those out so you can get to other things you need. But that's my 4-foot storage. My 2-foot storage is in the other room, and my 14-foot storage is behind us. So here you can see the different woods and labels. And then here's the thickness planer at the end of the bench. Not really in the way, but every once in a while, if I'm putting a really wide board down the table saw, I may have to move it out of the way. And on the bench, I keep a little slab of granite for flattening things. And then those are all the tools that are really behind the lathe on the other side there. So they don't really relate to the bench, except that they are generally out of the way of the table saw when I'm cutting. The table saw, by the way, the blade is exactly in the middle of the shop from one end to the other, so I can actually rip a 12-foot board across and it be received. And then that's my table saw. This is the pickup table. And I have this little fixture here that when you push up, a rod comes up, and you can attach this vise to it. This is the Versa vise. I have another video that shows you how to use that and everything. And this is one of the mounts. And the nice thing is that here it kind of tucks away, and when I want it, I can revolve it up and catch things on the table. Or I can come over here and put it and work something in this area. There are different workstations around the table, and the table's about 8 feet by 7 feet. So 8 feet that way with the table saw and everything. And then it's a steel legs that I got out of a fabric store, a big warehouse that had huge sheets of fabric that they would pull down these long tables, and each one is a different segment. As you can see here, there's 1, 2, 3, and then I made a framework on top of it. And then in there, wherever I wanted to use my, I doubled up the wood in this area underneath here, and it works fine and will clamp right down. And I have certain key areas open for where that goes, as I need to hold a board down. Here, there's one over there. And if I ever need another one, I can always add it. Now, this is a great little piece, and you see in the bench here I have holes that align to it, and then I have other holes as well, where sometimes they're harder to find. But this one with this one, and then over here is another set. So I can, if I want to, I can put in something here, and I can clamp it to a board coming across from this vise, and that way I can clamp something lengthwise to that, or I can use it as a stop and put it in all sorts of different positions. This one here makes it very much a great stop for planing boards. in this direction on a slight angle, so it makes it very comfortable to stand at this station. This is another vise that I use to hold boards when I'm planing, and the board fits in here, and the further it goes down, the tighter it gets, so your board would be standing here, and you could plane it. And I show how to use that in a video as well. I'm not sure that I went over the Emmer pattern maker's vise in a video. Maybe I should, but that's my go-to vise all the time because it pivots, it revolves, it angles up. You can hold almost anything in any position. So that's the go-to vise when I'm doing something that's a little odd to hold in a vise. And so coming down here is my router table in here. So the router is underhung there. And then over here, you see there are these holes here that I have these steel pegs that go in. And that allows me to clamp something in this vise here. And it would sit on those rods over there and be supported if it was a long board. And this is an area that is very thin. It's only about 1.5 inches. So all my small vices and other things all can clamp to this section. Whereas this section is not so good because the steel leg is right there. I probably should have thought better about it and moved it a little further in, but it's okay and it works well. And so there's no problem with that. And then down here, this is the router table, the inlay in there, and acts as a secondary wing to the table saw, so I can put a big board if I need to. I don't usually because I have that panel saw, but if I want to really work, and I usually work all around this bench, over there, over here, either putting things together or examining them. And then the table saw is here, and my shooting board is right here. These are some pieces from a project that I'm just finishing up. And of course, this is my shaper, but I really get away with that one mostly, the router table. And so that's my bench. I have down here, I have all the jigs and paraphernalia that goes with the table saw. And under here are a few things that really shouldn't be there. But you can see as I walk around the table how useful it is. And if I have something really large that I want to route, I can do it on that. As you can see, there's this arc here, and that's cut in with the router. And I set up a giant, basically, compass on my router. And so I was able to route the outside and inside of some tables. And I had to cut a little past the tabletop and into the bench, but not very far. And but has left a scar, so it tells a story. All these little nicks and stuff like that all tell a story. They all relate to some project that I've done. Anyway, that's the bench. I think I've shown you everything about it, except for maybe put things in them, but I don't think I need to go into that in this one. But that's the tour of the bench. Well, that's a quick and easy tour of the bench and how I use it. I do a lot of work from here, from over there, and of course planing with the main vise, and of course the table saw. But and I've got a wall right there, right across from the workstation that has all sorts of hand tools and stuff. I'll show you that, and or we'll go through that at some other time. But it's real easy for me to turn around at the bench and just take what I need. Sometimes I have to go in the tool room to get a plane or to get some cutters or something like that. But this is sort of the heart of the whole operation as far as the woodworking is concerned. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Very short, I know, and hope to see you soon again in the shop, and hope you'll all be safe and good and feel okay out there in this crazy world. And until I see you again, take care of yourselves and your friends. Talk to you later.